Hi guys. This is Faith with Life with Mrs. G and the Artist, and I just want to stop in today. Last week or the week before on my blog, I sorry guys, I'm trying to get this. Okay, last week on my blog, Cassie, or a couple of weeks ago on my blog, I had a series that I have every year called Bloggers on Marriage. And so I usually have guests on that series, and they come in and I have questions that they answer and whatever. And then at the end, usually I do a segment where I answer the questions myself. And so I thought today that I would get on here and just tell you a little bit about that. Hi guys, thanks for joining. So if you are just joining, we are going to, I have a segment on my blog called Bloggers on Marriage, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that today and answer some of the questions that I had my guests answer. So I'm going to jump right in. So this is talking about bloggers on marriage. They just do advice on marriage and stuff. So the questions are about marriage. The first question was about how long have you been married? And my husband and I have been married for 13 years. And I know, a long time. I'm glad we've stuck with it as long as we have. It's obviously had its, moments, ups and downs. Every marriage, I feel like, has all of those. But I'm glad that the Lord sent me a godly man that leads by example. When it comes to his walk with the Lord, that's the most important to me, and I'm just glad that that the Lord sent me that type of a man. Oh, awesome. So the next question was, what are the best qualities in your spouse? And I have nothing but the best to say about my husband. I know, if we're honest, we have things that we just would prefer that our husbands not have qualities, but I try not to dwell on those, I guess. I think the best quality about LG is the one I mentioned above, is that he leads by example when it comes to the Lord and ministries and the church and stuff. He does Bible studies sometimes. He helps lead the youth ministry at our church. He really takes time out for people. Like when people really need him, he's there for them, and he's very loyal. He's very, very loyal. He's like he's the most loyal person that I know, and I'm not being biased. He's just very, very loyal, and I appreciate that about him. I admire that a lot. He would literally give the shirt off his back to people in need, and I admire him so much for that. Marriage has taught me. What has marriage not taught me? That's awesome, Katie. Is Katie your name? I hate calling you that if that's not your name. But yes, servant of the Lord, servant of others. That's like an equality that's amazing. I so admire that in people. The next one is what has nope, I did that one. Oh, yes, no, what has marriage taught me? Yeah, so like I said, what has marriage not taught me? I feel that's a good one. I feel like there has been so much that I've learned in the 13 years that I've been married. The biggest thing I think that I've learned is that it's not all about me. And I didn't really feel like that I was ever a selfish person, that was all about me. But when I got married, I realized that there were things that I did have that attitude a little bit. And marriage is a give and take. And one of the things I've always heard that I kind of disagree with about marriage is that marriage is 50-50. I used to agree with that, but I don't necessarily feel that way anymore. Marriage is definitely not 50-50. If you're giving 50 and he's giving 50, exactly. You should be giving 100%. Each of you should be giving 100% because if you're not giving 100%, then, you know, you're only getting half of the benefits of marriage. You know, you should definitely give 100%. Each of you have to give everything to the marriage if it's going to work. Marriage has its ups and downs, and if you don't put everything into it, if you don't give your all to it, it's just not going to work. And if you have to work at it like your life depends on it, because your married life does depend on giving everything that you have to that person, and he's going to stand by you and be there for you. Why would you not want to give him that? So number 4, what are the biggest hot buttons in your marriage? Well, I don't like to talk for LG, but my biggest hot button would probably be little to no communication. My husband is not a talker. He would rather just sit and contemplate what to do about something than talk about it, and that drives me nuts. I'm a talker, so I just want to work everything out like right now and get it over with, and he wants to hang out and not talk about things, and I'm like, no, you can't do that. We can't not talk. So communication is definitely a biggie for me. It's like the life support of your marriage, I think. If you don't communicate, it goes to pot, pretty much. I don't know, Katie. It might be. It's so funny because, I have never, ever thought of myself as an extrovert. But when I married LG, it was like I became the extrovert. Because he's totally introverted. And so yeah, it is possible that the introvert and extrovert has its points to that. You're right. Because it's not that he doesn't want to communicate with me. It's not that he's not wanting to talk to me. It's just that he is the thinker. You know, he has to think about it. He has to figure out what he's going to say. And I just want to get it done right now. You know, I just want to work it out. And it's just sometimes it's not able to do that sometimes, and I have to realize that again, not all about me. And I have here, it says some people, what I wrote, some people have communication in spades. I like to talk, and some people don't. Leon doesn't like to talk. He's not a talker. So we have to find ways to communicate that works for both of us. So we have to find things that work for both of us, and then sometimes I have to learn to shut up and think on it, and sometimes he has to get over it and just talk, welcome to marriage. It's a give and take, like I said earlier. Okay, the next thing that we talked about was how do you resolve issues, or, my friend, when she guest posted, she said issues was kind of the wrong word, which I agree. It's not resolve issues, kind of resolve arguments or whatever. And then do you ever go to bed angry? And the answer to that has changed for me over the years. When I first was married, everyone always said, don't let the sun go down on your wrath, that scripture or whatever. And I feel like their interpretation of it was don't go to bed mad. So when I was first married, we would stay up for hours and hours and hours arguing, and it was like it never worked for us. We would still go to bed aggravated and tired, and it was crazy. And so anyways, for years I thought I was failing as a wife because I was going to bed either I was going to bed angry and was a failure in that, or I was not getting anything resolved. Yes, I don't think straight when I'm tired either, and then I say things that I regret, and it's just not good. And so, so since then, we have learned that sometimes you just have to let it rest. Sometimes you tell each other you love each other, you promise to discuss it later, and you go to bed and sleep on it. And 9 times out of 10, you don't even remember the argument when you get up. That's been our thing, that most of the time when we go to bed mad, when we get up the next morning, we're like, why were we so mad? Why did we stay up so late and, argue about absolutely nothing? So sometimes it's a bigger issue because you're tired and you're arguing and you don't really you lose the point, I guess. So the next thing was, how do you keep romance alive? My number one answer to this is date night. And doing the little things that you did when you were dating. I mean, that person that you married is, yes, they're your husband or your wife, but they are still that person that you dated and you fell in love with. And, you know, you do the little things that you did when you were dating. You know, if she liked flowers when you were dating, I guarantee you she still likes them every once in a while. If you got them, I'm sure she would love it. If you went hiking or biking or, you know, to golf with him when you were dating, to get to know him or do whatever, he still likes to do those things. Go with him and do those things. So my advice is to keep dating. Keep dating that boyfriend or girlfriend, even though they're still your husband, they're still your boyfriend and girlfriend too. The secret to marriage for me is putting God first. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but for me and LG, that has been the biggest thing for us. Like, I had a really bad relationship before LG, and when it ended, I was so brokenhearted and so hurt, and so I was just done. I was done with dating and, you know, all of that, and I prayed and I was like, Lord, I just don't want to do this anymore. I want to meet the person that you have planned for me, for my life, and I don't want you to send me anybody else until you send me him. And I promise you that was the next person that I dated. LG was the next person that I dated. And I think if you put God first in everything, in your ministries, in your life, and, you know, pray for each other, go to church together, you know, just putting God first in everything you do, in your ministries and everything. Putting him first is what I think makes life and marriage happy. So, and the advice that I would give is everything I've said. Put God first in your life. Pray. Yes, Katie, I agree. Putting God first and praying that he sends the one that supports your walk with God and your ministries, and don't stop dating. That's another one. And communicate. One of the other things that I don't know, I was going to mention it earlier, and I'll mention it before I get off here. One of the biggest things that I've recently come to realize is that in marriage, you can't expect your spouse, and I think, Katie, maybe this is what you were kind of maybe talking about. You can't expect your spouse to make you happy. I mean, yes, he will, but you have to have that joy and that happiness in yourself. You have to love yourself as a person. And you have to be happy with yourself and doing things. You can't solely depend on him making you happy, is my point, I guess. And I've just recently learned that. Yes. I've just recently really understood that. And because, you know, I mean, you need those friends outside of marriage, those girlfriends and those, you know, if you're a guy, those guy friends. Because, you know, there are some things that your spouse is not supposed to meet. You know, you do need those friends outside of your marriage to complete you as a whole person, I guess. And so, yeah, that is all I have today. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to talking with you guys a little bit later about some other things. So, talk to you later. Bye.